Welcome to Networking RX, a podcast devoted to helping business professionals like you enhance your networking skills in order to become more proficient giving and receiving quality business referrals and improving the overall quality of your life and the lives of those around you. The Networking RX podcast is a production of AmSpirit Business Connections, an organization whose mission is to empower business success through networking.
Welcome back for another episode. This is Frank Agin, founder and president of AmSpirit Business Connections, and you are listening to the Networking RX podcast. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for sharing this. Thanks for a whole lot of things. Referring it to others, really appreciate that. For those who know me or have listened to episode 000, my background, I have a law degree, I have an MBA, I have a CPA, I have more letters after my name than in my name. Went to undergrad, went to a small liberal arts college in Beloit, Wisconsin, called Beloit College, one of the top 50 liberal arts, small liberal arts colleges in the country. I'm no dummy. I am no dummy. People argue that, but I am no dummy. But in high school, I did get a C. The only class I've ever gotten a C in, and that class was chemistry. And a lot of reasons. I took chemistry in my sophomore year. I was probably too immature. I didn't apply myself. I was kind of in that mode. I'm not bringing books home on the weekend. And I think chemistry is one of those courses where you really kind of need to dig in. It's kind of on my bucket list to retake chemistry and really kind of understand it. Saw my kids go through high school and take chemistry and was kind of freaked out. Man, it's going to really get them too. And they just blew right through it. It wasn't a problem. And my kids are smart. My kids are certainly smarter than I am. But I got a C in chemistry. And I'm not talking about my any of this to brag or anything. I did well in physics. I did well in trigonometry. I did well in calculus. Chemistry just didn't do well. So I say all of this because I'm going to talk about chemistry today. And I did pay attention in chemistry, and one of the things that really kind of stuck with me with respect to chemistry, a couple things. Le Chatelier's principle. You apply pressure on a system, it reacts to equalize the pressure. I don't know what, that just kind of sticks with me. But the other thing is the notion of catalyst. And what a catalyst is in chemistry is any substance that increases the rate of reaction without itself being consumed. In other words, you add a substance or you subject a system to a catalyst, and it's going to create other chemicals to do something, but it doesn't change the substance that's been introduced. And so I went online. Again, I got a C in chemistry. I keep harping on this, so I am no expert, but I find this fascinating, and I'll explain why. I went online and I found some examples of catalysts. Catalysts, whatever. I think I did reasonably well in English, but I don't know. Catalysts, various catalysts. Iron. When they're making ammonia, iron is a helpful catalyst. And I know from looking this up, it's called the Haber process. But what the reaction to making an ammonia is you convert nitrogen and hydrogen into ammonia. And I don't know what the chemical formula for ammonia is. I know nitrogen is N and hydrogen is H. So you're bringing those two together, and they come together and they form ammonia. How and why? Again, I got a C in chemistry. But what they have found is that when you introduce iron to that process, iron breaks down the nitrogen bonds to make it more reactive to the hydrogen. And so it basically speeds up the process of connecting nitrogen to hydrogen. But at the end of the day, at the end of the process, you still have the iron. Another one I stumbled upon is vanadium oxide. I have no idea what that is. But sulfuric acid requires sulfur dioxide to become sulfur trioxide. My dad taught high school chemistry. He would be all over this. Probably thinks I'm an idiot because I got a C in chemistry. But when you pass sulfur dioxide over vanadium oxide, it oxidizes, meaning it adds an oxygen molecule, and that turns sulfur dioxide into sulfur trioxide. Again, I got to see in chemistry, it's all beyond me, and you're not seeing this stuff every day in life. There is something you do see every day in life in chemistry. Don't see, but it's out there. You have on your car a catalytic converter. And what that catalytic converter has, it's got platinum in it. And what the platinum does is it serves as a catalyst to change carbon monoxide, which is lethal, toxic, I should say, toxic. Too much of it is lethal. But it's a catalyst that will change carbon monoxide into carbon dioxide, which goes in the atmosphere, and we've got our own problems with carbon dioxide. And that's what your catalytic converter does. Doesn't deplete the platinum in your catalytic converter. You never have to go to the shop and say, oh, geez, I'm running low on platinum. The carbon monoxide just goes over or through or around or however it does it, the platinum, and it does its thing. It has an influence, and it turns the carbon monoxide into carbon dioxide. Essentially it adds an oxygen molecule, I would assume. Can I get a C+ in chemistry for that? At any rate, the term catalyst generally is used in chemistry, but it can also refer to things with respect to social change. And I find this interesting as I think about catalysts and think about networks and relationships, is that we really are, with our relationships, we're catalysts. We are just nothing but catalysts. For example, I'll give you some examples. You introduce Bob to Jim and Sally, or Bob to Jim, or Sally, either or all three, it doesn't matter. You've set that relationship in motion. Now you walk away, you're not depleted at all. You're not depleted at all. You walk away and they take that relationship and it becomes something. And again, you've changed them, but it doesn't necessarily change or deplete you. Never do you introduce two people and come away just totally exhausted saying, oh my gosh, I'm lesser for this. You are a catalyst for that situation. Now, there's certainly other examples. Really, if you open your mind, they're really kind of everywhere, these examples. And in fact, there's a book out there by David Burkus called Friend of a Friend, where he sort of talks about this in the book. But we exert an influence over the people in our lives. If you're somewhat healthy, you work out, the people you encounter will likely be more healthy. In fact, the people they know, according to David Burkus and the research he talks about, the people they know will be more healthy. Conversely, if the people you associate with are smokers or associated with smokers, the likelihood that you become a smoker increases dramatically. And so it's certainly important that we associate with the right people. But again, it's another example of sort of this social catalyst, where a social, where we're introducing ourselves to people and creating an influence over those people. And smoking and being healthy is just one example. Being optimistic. If you're optimistic, you're gonna help the people around you become more optimistic. It's no different than the carbon monoxide going over the platinum. You're not depleted at all by that process. You're just being you, but by being you, you're changing them. You're a catalyst. You're a social catalyst for the situation. Likewise, your stance on certain things, social change. Maybe it's Black Lives Matter, maybe it's the environment, politics, voters' rights. It could be, it could be pro-life, it could be pro-choice, it could be any number of things. But by introducing your values into a situation, you become a social catalyst. Really nothing more to this, just something to think about as you go about your day, and you can kind of see the influence that you're having on others through really your mere presence, your mere interaction with people. And just by doing that, you're not depleted in the least, but you add tremendous value to other people by just interacting with them. To wrap up, if you know of an entrepreneur, business owner, or professional that enjoys networking, I would love to meet them. I love to talk to anybody who is interested in networking. They're great contacts for me, and they're also wonderful people for me to share about our franchise opportunity, the AmSpirit Business Connections franchise opportunity. I'm not going to pitch them, I'm just going to tell them about it. They might be somebody who's interested, or they might know somebody who's interested. And that's always a great first step for me meeting with other people. When I come across people who are in networking groups, I'll just, I'll ask them, would you rather be a renter or would you rather own the building? You just want to be in a group? That's fine. Just be in a group. If you want to own multiple groups or a group, that's really what our franchise opportunity is all about. So if you know such a person, please connect me, email them, and tell me a little bit about them, and then copy me in that, and then you can talk a little bit about me. I'm Frank Agin. I run this podcast, have a franchise opportunity involving networking, and we can kind of take it from there. That would be perfect.
Thanks for joining us on the Networking RX podcast. Please put what you've learned into action today, and let us know if you have questions, comments, or ideas for future topics. You can email them to us at podcast@amspirit.com. That's AmSpirit.com. Finally, so you never miss an episode, be sure to subscribe to the Networking RX podcast through iTunes, Overcast, or however you receive your podcasts. Now get out and network with someone.
The Networking RX podcast is the copyright production of AmSpirit Business Connection. All rights reserved.